Hi everyone, it's Amy Rich with amyrich.stampinup.net. I am thrilled to be here today to share with you a card that I actually made quite a long time ago using these colors. I featured this technique that is called offset triple stamping. And so I started with a card that, a card base that is cut 4 1/4 by 11 and scored so that I could fold that in half. I'm going to set that aside. I won't need it for a while. And then 3 pieces of Whisper White, one that is 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, one that is 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, and then 2 by 4 1/2. All right. And then I've cut the early espresso pieces just a 1/4 inch bigger. So 2 3/8 by 2 3/8, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. We're going to start with the white pieces, and we're going to use just a teeny bit of adhesive to attach them together. Now, one thing I'm going to want to check is how they will lay on the card, because I want to make sure that I don't attach them together where they'll go off the card. All right, so we'll just do a teeny bit of adhesive and make sure we're not going to go off the edge. That should do it. All right, so now we've just adhered them together just a teeny little bit. We're going to take Pear Pizzazz ink. And what I haven't told you yet is that today we're going to feature the My Meadow stamp set from the January to June mini catalog 2020. And this is a great set because you can do all kinds of different landscaping designs, beautiful outdoors things, and you're going to like how this comes together actually pretty easily. So we're going to start with this. This is going to be our main land mass here. So I've got that here and my Pear Pizzazz ink. And I want, you know what, I'm going to put a piece of scratch paper underneath so that I'm sure not to get it on my mat. All right, I'm going to lay this so that it overlaps several of, or at least a couple of the pieces. And you can see that there is some edging that is still white. That's okay. We won't worry about that. Then we're going to take our early espresso ink. And we're going to do a couple of things with that. I'm going to set the Pear Pizzazz aside. A couple of things with the early espresso. First, we're going to take that lovely gazebo, ink that up in early espresso, and then we're going to sit it atop of this little hill here. All right, and then we're going to take the tree. See, it's kind of naked, but we're going to take the tree and we're going to line it up so that it's sitting next to the gazebo, like so. Now going back with our Pear Pizzazz, we're going to give the tree some branches or some leaves. We're going to use this stamp right here over and over and over again to create that leafy feel to the tree. And we're not going to care about overlapping sections because that's what we want. We want these stamps to go into other sections of the landscape. And because I can't resist a good apple tree, we're going to take the real red ink and we're going to take this stamp right here. This is the one we used for the leaves. Here's the one we're going to use for just a few apples on our tree. Just like that. And we're going to finish up with some Balmy blue. All right, so the stamp set comes with a stamp that resembles clouds. So we'll get some clouds on there. I'm going to flip it the other way to do this side. It's okay to overlap. That's what a landscape does, right? And then this particular one here is a little stream. So we're going to layer this with the green a couple of times here to make our little stream. All right, so now that we've got our landscape, we're going to take these apart carefully. It's okay if you rip them a little bit because you'll be adhering them back together shortly. And I think most of my stamping is done, so I'll take this away. And now we're going to layer these on their coordinating pieces of early espresso cardstock. I noticed my gazebo is a little bit at a slant here. I hope no one sitting inside notices. Oops. Then we'll adhere this to here. So we've got our 2 1/8 by 2 1/8 piece of white going onto our 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 espresso. Our 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 white going on 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then our 2 by 4 1/2 going onto our 2 1/4 by 4 3/4 piece of early espresso. All right, so now we're going to assemble this back together onto our card. So we'll bring that back in. And you can do this with lots of pretty images. I think it'd be pretty with flowers for sure. Any sort of landscaping, outdoorsy stuff, I think it would look really nice with. And then now when we're layering our next one, we kind of want to line it up the way it would have been had we not had the early espresso in between. So we kind of want to line it up, making sure our stream flows together and our grasses here and our tree and our clouds, making sure they all connect. And they're all going on flat. There's nothing that's getting popped up or anything like that. And then we'll finish with our crooked gazebo. Oops. Just like that. Isn't that cool? I love the look of that offset triple stamping. Then because my meadow has no sentiments in it, I'm just going to bring in the Timeless Tropical stamp set, which doesn't really seem to go. But take the hello with the early espresso ink, and that'll just go right at the bottom. And what a lovely card that can be to make someone's day, especially we're in the middle of the COVID crisis right now, and I think sending cards is just a great way to tell people that you're thinking about them and you love them even though you can't see them. So thank you for joining me for this little technique-y project today, and I hope you join me again real soon.